It's time for a new adventure.
Welcome back to another episode of Adventures in Business. This is your co-host Amy Zander with CDA Media, and I'm here with Lisa Fisher. How you doing, Lisa?
Amy, I'm doing fantastic. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty well. Yeah, it's we're here in September. Weather's cooling off a little bit. Yeah. So, what have you been out and about doing recently in the Lansing
Oh,
area?
God. I was getting hungry one day, so I had to stop in between appointments, and I went to Meats Barbecue. That's in Old Town Lansing, and picked up some brisket to go. Oh my gosh! And then, of course, I had to walk across the street to Cravings Popcorn and grab a little dessert. So, if you guys are ever in Old Town, Meats, Cravings, you're good to go.
Yeah. Yeah, we've had him on our show. Absolutely.
Absolutely. What have you
Yeah.
been up to?
Let's see. I have been riding my bike as much as I can. So I rode my bike last night to yoga, which was great because it was a beautiful day. And I went to Horrocks this past Saturday. It'll be a couple weeks from now when this records, but they had a Grateful Dead cover band. And so we enjoyed that. It's my husband's favorite band. It was crowded, but it was nice. And yeah, so that was nice. It's always fun to see live music.
Yeah. There's so many great things that we can do here in the 517 area. And that's why promoting the businesses that we do and having the guests on our show is so important because there is a lot to do and to keep people in this community and keep it growing. So,
Yeah, absolutely. So speaking of that, who do we have today?
we have Mrs. Katie Krick. She is the owner and founder of the Period Pick Me Up, and they have a unique mission to help women everywhere create a better period experience for themselves. So, welcome, Katie. How are you today?
Hello. I'm great. How are you guys? Well, you just told me how you are.
Yeah.
You seem centered and your needs have been met, and now we're just chatting, which is awesome. It's good to see you.
Absolutely. We are so excited to hear about your adventure in business with the Period Pick Me Up box. So share with us, Katie, what is this?
I feel like the word adventure has never been more applicable to my life.
That's great.
Like, honestly, now that I'm sitting here, I'm like, wow, that is what this is, definitely. The Period Pick Me Up is my answer to this observation that I had and have had throughout my life, which is that humanity would cease to exist if menstruation stopped.
True.
And the cultural societal response to menstruation is completely off. There's a fundamental mismatch between the two. Not to mention a fundamental mismatch between the support and the care that is given to the menstruators who are doing socially necessary work for years and years of their lives. So this is my answer. It's my way of trying to right this ship a little bit. You can have your groceries delivered to you. You can have your dog food delivered to you. You can have clothes sent. You can decorate your house. You can order all of these things. And so when I was grappling with this concept of my period's really affecting my daily life, it's affecting a significant amount of my time. And I just feel like I should be able to get a present. Like, I really feel like I should be able to have something sent to me that just helps me feel seen and cared for and appreciated a little bit. And I assumed it had been done. I just assumed that there was a model out there for this. But what I found is that you can get your tampons delivered on a subscription basis. You can get certain medicines, you can subscribe to those, and you can order care packages for yourself. But there was nothing that was meant or designed for a woman to take the first step in creating a ritual for herself where she puts respecting her body first and where her family can see her putting respecting her body first. And so I'm kind of carving out a whole new lane. Here we are.
That is so exciting. Yeah, it really is. It's so interesting to find a hole in a market, right? Because we do assume that everything has already been done and said and is there, and we can do it maybe in a different way. But were you had to have been really surprised, right, when you discovered that no, there really isn't anything like this.
I really was surprised. I mean, I Googled period kits, and I found some, but they all had some um, focus on menstrual products like tampons or pads, but I use a cup. And so they would have been a waste for me just to order these boxes that had those products in them just to get the one piece of chocolate they added to. I didn't see that the boxes really had a strong brand either, or a focus on charitable giving, that kind of thing. So I had the idea kind of kicking around for a while and did the small business thing of asking friends, would you buy it? What do you think? What would you like this? And, of course, now what I'm finding and reading is that people say they will do and what they actually do are very different things. And you certainly can't rely on your friends to keep your business open, right?
Yep.
But it gave me a very good sense for, yeah, wow, most women haven't even thought about this. We have been given this narrative our whole lives that like women have periods and that's a woman thing that they do. And essentially what our culture has done is carve this hugely significant piece of ourselves out of our consciousness, and it's just like tucked away in a drawer next to our tampons, only to be brought out 5 days a month, when in reality our cycles affect us constantly all the time. And the more and more we talk about that, the more I'm uncovering that women expect their periods are going to be terrible. They just accept and believe that migraines and nausea and cramping and excessive bleeding are just normal parts of periods that they should just deal with. They don't ask for help and they don't complain about it either. And all of that goes in as a result of this narrative that we have of this privacy around this topic. And so I'm done with it. I'm over it. And God bless my husband, who my Christmas present last year was this sweatshirt he got for me and my t-shirt. It was a month after I quit my job and was doing it full time, and he surprised me. So we have a lot of good people, a lot of good men and women around there that really don't want that narrative. It's not serving anybody anymore, and so we're seeking to change that.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Not only are you creating a product, but you're working to shift the entire attitude towards women's periods and what that means and how it does affect their lives, and that we don't have to just pretend they're not happening and go on with our lives like we're not having something going on.
Yeah, I'm trying to. There's a lot of great work being done in this space as well. There are so many speakers and advocates, organizations out there that are trying to kind of get this known. And I think that there's a lot that's moving, that we're going in the right direction for sure. But it is surprising to me. I really didn't expect that I would be in the like internalized micro trauma healing space.
Mm.
I really didn't. But if you're over 30, man, I have yet to encounter a woman that's over 30 who feels instantly like, yeah, I want to buy that for myself. It's always first a conversation of, what?
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I guess I am doing a lot of work. Yeah, I guess I shouldn't have to be quiet about this. Yeah, why? Who am I trying to help by not getting treatment for my problems? And so it's opened up a lot of doors, a lot of conversations. And my biggest goal right now is to stay on task and not get too distracted by the tendrils.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and you are collaborating with a lot of other people in the community that are also on some similar missions. And so, share with us some
Yeah.
of those relationships and collaboration that you're getting into, and how are you using that as leverage?
So Lizney Tate was the founder of Helping Women Period. And I'm taking this call at my island because I work here a lot, by the way, and I'm like the most comfortable. But anyway, so I'm not in my office. She is the founder of Helping Women Period, which is a nonprofit that was founded in 2015. And she recognized that period poverty exists, which is that women in socioeconomic demographics that are underprivileged don't have access to tampons and pads. This affects women all over the world, of course, but especially, for our sake, helping our own communities. So she started sourcing and stocking tampons and pads and menstrual cups for schools, public spaces, that kind of thing. She's done incredible work. She's been on Oprah's magazine and a TEDx speaker, all this cool stuff. So I was sitting a year and a half ago with my friend Denise Lansing talking about this concept for this product. And I said, what would be really cool is if the person who does this box eventually, not thinking it would be me, would partner with Helping Women Period, because that's such a natural match.
Mm-hmm.
The minute I said that, you guys, Lizney, the founder, literally walked in the door of the coffee shop where I was. Well, if I've ever needed a sign in my life, there it is. And so my genuine goal is to become profitable enough that we can just bankroll her whole operation, right? I mean, I'm a long way out from there, and right now, all I've been able to do is send a few menstrual cups per month to support their stocking. But I grapple with the fact that it's a very privileged thing to be able to buy luxury spa items to help yourself have a nice period when there are girls in Michigan who are missing school because they don't even have pads to wear. So I'm trying to consistently have this open mind about what does it look like to have a good period? What is a good period experience if you're 12 and in poverty? What's a good period experience if you're 33 and a mom and an employee? What's a good period experience if you are trying to conceive? What is it if you're going through perimenopause? There's a lot of variations of normal. And so it's really to me about let my product be the gateway drug to women pursuing a better period experience for themselves, whatever that means for them.
Before we dive into what are some of the things that can be found in your box,
Yeah.
do you have some events that are coming up that you are working with right now?
I just had the opportunity to speak at the 10 over the next 10 alumni breakfast yesterday morning. The Chamber of Commerce in Lansing has a really cool award that recognizes 10 professionals to watch under the age of 35 and their contributions over the next 10 years. And I was awarded that in 2020. So they did a cool thing. They brought back some alumni. I spoke on a panel, and that award is being decided next Tuesday night. So I'll be there too. And I am looking for some trade shows that would be a good fit for me to bring my products. Yeah, so that'd be great. And yeah, I had a couple of opportunities over the summer to work vendor fairs, but women's health trade shows would be an awesome thing for me to try to get into and just continue to collaborate. Yeah, thanks for that question.
Okay, very good. Very good. So, what is in one of your pick me up boxes?
I'm actually curious, maybe your audience can help me. I am also continuously trying to refine the product. I got good advice, which was you are ready to launch your product when it does what you say it will do. And from there, everything is iterative. So right now, the way that I approach this is everything in the box is a surprise, except for they know there'll be chocolate. And so every month, well, for the frequency that is best for them, if they, every 28 days, every 45 days, whatever. So there's always only products from women-owned businesses and makers. So female artisans that create spa products is really popular. Jewelry makers, loose leaf tea formulators, that kind of thing. So I've been able to find some awesome stuff from women all over the world. Tea strainers that are rose gold and lovely, and it's been that's probably my favorite part, is finding new things to buy, like go shopping as a job now, and get them in the hands of women who would otherwise not know about them. That said, I do wonder if a customer would prefer to have a little bit more information about what's going to be in the box before she buys it. So I'm open to changing that. I'm open to kind of releasing the product the month before and then letting people buy if they want to. So lots of experimenting going on in that way.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I am a subscriber. I get one every month. I've gotten a few.
Thank you.
And I signed up quite a while ago. It's been a few months since I had one, so I haven't gone back and looked. I know you updated your website, and the sign up experience might be a little bit different than when I did. One of the things I was thinking about, and I'm just going to throw this out there because we're talking about it. A couple boxes ago, I got a bath bomb, which was awesome, but I don't have a bathtub. So I couldn't really use it. It was still great. And I gave it to a wonderful friend who loves baths.
Oh,
and
good.
Enjoyed it, and that was fine. But I was just thinking that there might be, maybe you have this now, but like a comment section, like if people have an allergy or like they don't have a bathtub or just something like that, where they can just give you a little notes in there.
That's such a good idea. I would love to drive in that direction. And the allergy perspective was something I've been thinking about for a year now. The issue is when you're buying products wholesale, there are minimum product requirements. And until I have a higher volume of customers, it's extremely expensive to buy variations of the same product for the box every month. Now,
Mhm.
that said, I also do not have a bathtub. And I was like, oh my gosh, like somebody's not gonna have a bathtub. And so I think about that, and I would love to get to a point where I can take a customer through a journey of their preferences before they even finish their checkout process, and they can say salty or sweet, right? Or
Right.
allergies or none, that kind of thing. So it's definitely coming. The more that I learn, the more willing I am to put more resources into development like that. I feel like I've kind of been at a playground until now, or like a mock-up world until almost right now, and I'm like, okay, I have a better sense for how to meet this need, and I'm going to be making some changes in the future.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah, one of the things I was thinking about, we were talking about this right before we started recording, was that my oldest daughter just went off to college for the first time, so she's a freshman, and I was thinking about getting her a subscription, right, to the box.
Mm,
So like, so she's getting something mailed to her every month at college and that kind of thing.
yeah.
But she would be in the same boat, right? Doesn't have
No
a bathtub at
bathtubs.
college. Yeah.
Right.
So, but other than that, like, I've actually given her, some of the jewelry I've gotten out of the boxes because she
Oh,
liked it and we've shared it, she
oh,
likes the
good.
boxes and stuff like that. But, thinking about
I'm
signing
so
her up.
glad.
So yeah, yeah.
Well, thanks. Can you tell me what it's done as far as conversations in your house? I mean, I think you're a pretty open mom, and so I
Yeah.
know your kids have been well served by your conversations, but are you finding like anything has changed as far as your focus?
Well, for me personally, because I get
Mhm.
an email reminder that your period box is shipped, and I'm like, oh yay, I'm getting something. I get so
Oh, good.
excited. And it's made me like look forward to it. It's
Mhm.
Oh, I'm
exciting.
so
It's
glad.
exciting the surprise about not knowing what's in the box too. Like I wouldn't want to know everything that
Mm,
was in the box. Like I do
okay,
like the surprise for sure.
cool.
And I look forward to it, and I do think about it. Yeah, it does what you say.
Uh,
It changes the way I feel about my period. I mean, I still wish I didn't have to go through all the other stuff, but
yeah, right.
it is a little celebration, and all this stuff in the box is
Mm,
like you said, it's all feel goody fun stuff that I wouldn't necessarily buy myself, but it's all useful. I use it all, or like give it to somebody who will use it,
mhm.
and it's great. Like it's great.
Oh, that's super encouraging.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Well, and the whole element of self-care, which too I believe came up in our conversation, right? There's
Mm,
that
mhm.
piece of women doing something for themselves. And,
Yeah.
we've got to take that time to embrace and celebrate who we are, what we do, what we put ourselves through on a daily basis, trying to wear multiple hats. And so I think anytime that there is something that is easy to purchase, convenient, that just comes in the mail is a very good way to embrace self-care.
Hmm.
And Lisa, I've thought about that a lot especially when I was a new mom. My daughter's 5, almost 6 now, but I had
Mhm.
so many people telling me, "Don't forget self-care. Don't forget self-care. Work in self-care." And it was so stressful. I had people, like family
Mhm.
members that are close to me saying like, "Katie, what are you doing for yourself?" And I would say, I mean, I'm surviving. I'm pretty proud of that. Like I have a kid that doesn't sleep. I'm breastfeeding. I'm in sales. Like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
That's another thing on my list. And so it felt almost more stressful to get this constant messaging about self-care. And I really think that if I had had a box, if I had a box of
Right.
self-care sent to me, I wasn't having to put thought into my
Yeah.
plan.
Hmm.
That burden being away is so huge and so helpful. And so
Mhm.
I hope that it
Mhm.
helps, people in all different walks of life.
That's a really good point.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So, are the majority of your subscribers subscribing for themselves, or are they sending it to somebody else?
They are mostly subscribing for themselves.
Okay.
And I love your question because it can lead me into talking about my Etsy store. So it's
Yes,
like a
that was
perfect
going to be my other
segue.
question. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, awesome. Okay. So I would say as many people were asking about pick me up gift option. And for a myriad of reasons on the administrative side, it's actually really difficult to pull off both things. Also, from a product projecting standpoint, it's really difficult to know how to buy for things that aren't subscription.
Hmm.
And more than anything, I didn't feel offended, but I felt like, no, that's not the point. Like, the point is, this is a way for women to choose themselves. This is a way for women to decide that their period experience is worthy and matters, and that things need to change around her support system. So I don't want it to be a gift. That's not what it's for. It's for them.
Yeah.
But that's really just a false problem, because in reality, what I want to do is get it in the hands of as many women as possible. And if it happens because a friend cares about you,
Yeah.
great. And so I opened up an Etsy store, and I've been putting similar boxes on there just to kind of see what would happen. And the benefit of it is that I can take a little bit more time to curate specific things. And so I just had an order yesterday morning for a woman whose best friend just got pregnant. She's like, oh, no more periods, but it's just a women's health thing. And so again, it's all a great experimental adventure.
Right. So just for our
Hold for a minute.
listeners, oh, go
Hold
ahead,
for a
Lisa.
minute, Amy. The period pick me up is .net, correct? Not .com.
No, it's .com. Thank you so
Oh,
much for noticing that, Lisa. I really appreciate it. Yep, I
okay.
haven't unveiled this yet. This was like literally yesterday. I started with pickmeupbox.net because I was advised not to use the word period in the name of my company. And I have since decided that was advice that I don't need to take anymore. And so the period pick me up was born. Fortunately, Amy, I was early enough in it that I did not have an expensive rebrand.
Yeah, that's always a hassle.
Yeah, so now the .net still feeds to the same website, but it is officially the periodpickmeup.com.
Sorry. And Hammond can edit that. However, I just really apologize when I saw that, because when I was looking at, getting a bio, so sorry.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh, I'm glad that you
that's
brought it up,
okay.
because I feel really proud of it, but like I wasn't just gonna bring it up because who cares about my website handle, I do though.
Yeah, no, that's a good story. That's a really good
Yeah.
story, because not all advice that we're given are things that we should take, right?
That's the first thing Paul Schmidt told me. Paul Schmidt
Mhm.
called me the day I quit my the day I announced it, and he said, "Listen, I'm gonna tell you one thing. Not all advice is good advice."
Oh,
Yeah.
And then like he basically hung up. I'm like, "Oh, okay."
That sounds exactly like Paul.
Yep.
Yeah. Nice. We need those people in our lives to tell us that stuff too. So I just wanted to, like, for our listeners, so if you go to theperiodpickmeup.com, you can sign up for a subscription. Basically, you pick your the cadence of your period, whether it's every 28 days or however often you want it, and there's different levels of the boxes for different prices, and you can do that. You can stop at any time. But you started the Etsy store, which is linked from your website, for those kind of one-offs. That's not a subscription ongoing thing, but it's for people who want to either buy it for themselves or somebody else. And I know that you were talking on another show that I listened to about, people were talking about how if you're trying to get pregnant, right? And then you get your period, it's not always a happy thing because you're trying to get pregnant, but that's also something that can be gifted or acknowledged in some way. And that I think, if I'm stating this right, that was one of your motivators for creating these one-offs, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It's really, I'm touched that you brought that up, Amy. Thank you for creating space to talk about that. There's so many of my friends have battled infertility, and I have one very close friend who had not a miscarriage. She delivered early and the baby died a few days later. She had some really serious trauma, and it's something that I'm very delicate about as far as marketing, because the last thing that I want is for it to come across as though I'm profiting off of somebody's grief or loss or anything like that at all. But it is such an unmet need that exists among families. And so something that I'm very diligent about is that inside the boxes, there's never like rah periods. No, it's you are worthy. Whatever your experience is deserving of validation. And if this period is a session of grieving for you because you thought you were going to have a baby and now you don't, here is love. Here's support. Here's connection. So no matter how you feel about your period, there's not a false narrative sown that like they're fantastic things to experience. Rather, you are a fantastic person having an experience, and this is going to help you have more control over what it's like.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that is very very profound, and I'm glad that we talked
Mm.
about that because that's important.
It is
Definitely.
important, and I think suffering in silence in anything is creates such compounding pain.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And women, we don't realize that we have been experiencing that in tiny little doses every single period we've had for our entire lives. We've been suffering in silence with this compounding pain, and now we have the opportunity to undo that and to find some healing, find a place of sort of refreshed empowerment where we're a little more peaceful, a little happier, a little healthier, and take a little bit less crap from people.
Right.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So you mentioned that you would love to do some trade shows, speak at
Oh,
events.
yeah.
Your boxes, the contents are from women-owned businesses
Mm-hmm.
and just always looking for women to try one of your boxes. But when you start thinking
Mm-hmm.
of who do you want to get connected with in our community?
Mm-hmm.
Who is a group, an organization? Who would you like to connect with?
Thanks for the question. And Amy, thanks for talking beforehand about this. I would love to talk with coordinators at colleges and universities who help liaise with parents. I believe that there's a process of bringing vendors in to help parents, like, here's how you can pay for your kids' laundry while they're away, that type of support. And so I think it'd be awesome if there's anybody listening who works in secondary education that could help parents help their kids would be
Yeah.
great.
Probably at
I'm
open
also,
houses and things like that for sure.
yeah,
Hmm.
maybe for
Yeah.
sure, for sure. Any like um, any makers, also artisans that are able to sell things wholesale. I mean, I need to buy 4 to 6 products per month. So there's never going to be enough. There's never too many to talk with as long as the product meets my requirements and the testers that I use like it, then it's in. So happy to talk with anybody about those things. And opportunities to discuss menstruation from a business perspective. There's a ton of advocacy in the world being done by women who are talking about menstruation, period. Period. I didn't mean to, but I think I have a unique perspective in that I had a corporate career for 12 years, and I can see the business case very clearly for why employers should take this seriously, why we shouldn't just hide
Hmm.
menstrual health in a different section. And so on business summits, I talked about this yesterday with the 10 over 10 nominees, and I was so surprised at how well it was received in the room. Like multiple men came up to me like, yeah, like my wife and I talk about this all the time, and I really want to help support her better. Thank you for this. So there's
Hmm.
a big
Hmm.
place in business and in economics to discuss this now. So I would love opportunities to be that person. And ultimately, really hearing stories, hearing from women, hearing about, their why or why not they want to be or don't want to be a customer, because I can typically uncover some healing opportunities in that conversation. And
Hmm.
from professionals, I'm working with a few physicians right now, one in particular who I'm loving that we're collaborating on some content, but nutritionists, yoga instructors, anybody who has a mindset for women's health who can help me create value for my customers, I would love to give a platform to and collaborate with.
Absolutely. It's really interesting what you were saying about the economics of all of this
Yeah.
because I know that legislation that there was a group of women that just did from the government's menopause in the workplace. And
Mm.
so addressing these different issues can
Mm-hmm.
help with understanding what's going on, or all of a sudden you're missing an employee consistently around the same time, of the month every time.
Yeah.
It's just there is an impact for the business owners, for corporations of what's happening with women in their bodies. And if they're
Yeah.
putting something out there, if the government's putting something out there on menopause in the workplace, I'm sure that there's plenty of opportunity for you to share um, knowledge, wisdom, information
I
around
hope
things
so.
like. Hmm.
Thanks. Yeah, there's
Nice.
a lot to be done.
Awesome. Katie, is there
Mm.
anything that we've not asked you that you'd like to share with our listeners?
Man, I wish I had something so I could like end with a bang, but no, I feel really just relieved that this is something that is, I mean, you're women and you're amazing, but still there are a lot of women who don't want to be seen talking about it because they don't want to rock the boat. So thank you for being willing to use this platform in this way, and for what you're doing in general. I feel pretty good about our discussion, but I'm happy to answer any lingering questions if you have them. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan. I love my product and getting it. Thank you so much for the service that didn't exist before you had your great idea and started your adventure.
Oh my gosh, adventure indeed. Well, thank you for being a customer, Amy. It means a
Yeah.
lot. I smile every time. Have you gotten the most recent one yet?
I got
Sent
the
it 2
email
days
saying it's
ago.
on its way. So
Oh, yay.
yeah.
It's my favorite one yet. I hope that you love it.
All right, I'm sure I will. So,
Awesome.
well, thank you so much for being on our show. And to our listeners, again, you can find more information at theperiodpickmeup.com. And Katie, what are your social media handles?
It's the period pick me up on
Okay.
Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. And
Okay.
again, I'm always taking comments, suggestions, requests. So everybody should feel free to message me on any of those platforms or email me at katie@theperiodpickmeup.com with their ideas. And I want to incorporate that because this product should reflect women. It should not tell women how to be. It should represent who they are. And so I need voices to be able to do that effectively. So yeah.
Excellent. And as always, we'll have all those links in our show notes for this episode.
Awesome.
Thank you for being an advocate for women and for putting yourself out there and making a difference in the world. We appreciate you and we've enjoyed listening to your story and can't wait to watch you grow and continue to make that impact. So thank you for
Thank
being here.
you, Lisa. Thank you both very much.
Yeah. Thanks so much for being here, Katie. Yeah. And to all our listeners, thank you again for joining us on another Adventures in Business. We release new episodes every Wednesday. You can find them at zdiamedia.com or wherever you listen to your podcast. And please don't forget about our YouTube channel, Adventures in Business. Thanks so much. Have a great day. And as always, go out and make it an adventure.
This is a Zedia Media production.